What is going on, guys? Bruno Fernandes has officially turned down the big money move to Saudi. What does this mean for Manchester United moving forward? A lot of split reactions I've heard throughout the fan base with this one. You guys know me, I'm the biggest Bruno Fernandes fan ever. Obviously, I'm very happy that he's staying at the club. And me personally, I actually do believe it's the right decision. I am a fan of Manchester United before I'm a fan of any player on the team. I want what's best for the club. And if it was actually better for the club to get rid of Bruno Fernandes, then I would say so. Here's the thing though. I feel like majority of United fans know Bruno's a good player and they would like him to stay at the club, but the only reason they want him to leave is because of the money that we could potentially be getting from Saudi. Here's the way I see it. I really think United would be dumb to sell Bruno Fernandes because, okay, yes, let's say we sell him for around 100 million. I don't know what the exact number was, but it was somewhere around the 100 million mark. Sell Bruno Fernandes, and let's say we bring in about 2, maybe 3 players for the whatever money we would get for him. Who's to say that those players are actually going to work out? For me, it's too big of a risk. You know what you're going to get with Bruno Fernandes. He's a sure thing. He's going to get creativity, he's going to bring goals, and he's going to bust his ass off every single minute he's on that pitch. On top of that, he's really the only true leader we have in the club. And whether you like Bruno or not, you cannot deny that the team is better when he is in it than when he's out of it. And look, I know people can be frustrated because, you know, he tries to force things too much, maybe makes the wrong decisions sometimes. Like, I understand all that. The guy is human at the end of the day. He's going to make some mistakes. But if we actually bring in better players around him, I feel like he'll start to minimize those mistakes. Because when Bruno starts to take the game in his own hands and he feels like he's literally the only one that can make things happen, that's when he starts forcing stuff. We saw it in the Spurs game. Kept trying to force passes, trying to do everything himself. And to be honest, I don't really blame him for that because the guy literally has zero help. Zero. And it looks like we actually are trying to do that, bring in better players. We got Cunha in, and Bumo's basically a done deal from what I'm hearing. United just need to agree a fee with Brentford. I'm actually happy with the moves we've been making this summer so far, and we're getting the business done early, which is another nice thing to see. But honestly, the priority for me is we need a proper holding midfielder beside Bruno to bring in this window. If we end up playing Casemiro and Bruno in the midfield next season, we are going to get absolutely destroyed again. Casemiro, you're an absolute legend, but you're past it, bro. All right, as much as I hate to admit it, the guy can't run, okay? Maybe he can get away with it in the Europa League, but when it comes to Premier League, the guy's getting exposed week in, week out. We need somebody in the midfield that can actually receive the ball from the back line and not give the ball away. And there's also a lot of question marks on what position Bruno's even going to play or what even is his best position. For me, I actually do think his best position is in the central of midfield as opposed to as one of like the attacking mids. Usually we play on the right. From what I've observed, when Bruno Fernandes is playing as one of the cams and he's like floating in a wide area a little bit, he tends to hide. For me, he's at his best when he's playing in the middle. He's able to receive the ball and transition quickly. That's where we see Bruno Fernandes at his best. For me, it's honestly more important that we get a midfielder that he can play off of. It's honestly more important to me than the striker. Like, we really need both, but if I had to choose, I'd rather go for the midfielder and just play either Xerxes or Cunha, or hopefully if we get the Mbumo, can't even say the guy's name right. We get that deal done, maybe he can even play striker. Now, maybe I'm just delusional, but I actually don't think the team is actually as bad as it may seem. Yes, we finished in 15th place. Yes, it was one of our literal worst season in Premier League history, at least. But if you actually watch the games, I swear, the general play of the game, United look like the better side, at least to me. We look more dominant at the end of the game. We tend to have better possession stats, seem to actually create more chances than the opposition. We just can't score. We can't finish. We all know this. The main issue is the goal scoring. I actually think for the most part, the defense is pretty solid. Obviously, when you look at the goal differential, it may not seem that way. But the way the games tend to go, the longer the game continues without scoring a goal, the more pressure on the back line and the more likelihood that they're going to give up a goal. The biggest thing that we need to change next year is actually killing off these games. We need somebody, a number 9, that can actually get us goals. And sadly, Rasmus Højlund is not that guy. Now, I just want to talk about the money we're actually getting for Bruno. This is the thing I don't like about football or football fans. Everybody's just got such a short-term memory. They're always thinking about the short term. You know, people will say we need to sell Bruno so we can get our 100-odd million and we can bring in new players. Now, to me, it makes more sense to, instead of selling Bruno, to bring in players that you don't know if they're going to be good or not, that for all we know, we could sign them and they could get injured. That's another thing about Bruno that's great. The guy is available for pretty much every single game of the season, and you can't replace that. Would you rather sell Bruno, get that quick money now, Or do you keep Bruno? Bruno helps you get back in the Champions League where the real money is, and then boom, that money that you got from selling Bruno, you've now got that from entering the Champions League. And hopefully if we're able to finish in Champions League spots next season, we can then build off that. And then long term, if we consistently finish in the Champions League thanks to Bruno Fernandes, then that would be way more money than we'd even get for selling him. And truly, that has been United's biggest issue throughout the years. Trying to do all these short-term fixes to try and paper over the cracks, but in the long run, they just end up losing money. And at the start of the window, you know, it was coming out that United didn't have any money to buy players. That is a bullshit lie, all right? Money is not real. These motherfuckers have the money. They could easily spend it. They can find that money from somewhere. If they have to take it out of their own pockets, then so be it. But if our owners were actually smart, they realize, if I actually invested in the team and the team actually had success, then we'd actually make more money instead of just milking the club dry with your bullshit dividends. Like, it actually blows my mind how stupid the financial decisions that this club makes are. Like, you could genuinely sim a career mode on FIFA and they would make better financial decisions than the board in real life. That being said, since Ineos has come in, you know, obviously people still hating on them and rightly so, but you can't deny, I would say pretty much every signing that we've made since Ineos has came in, I would say has been a good signing. Anyway, I just wanted to give my thoughts on the whole Bruno situation. If you like this video and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you go hit the like button. Go leave a comment. Do you want Bruno to stay or do you think we should have sold him? Also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn the bell on so you know when your boy goes live or posts a video. Also, if you're interested in the best replica jerseys, make sure you check out the boys over at Soccer at Toast and use the code TFC1 for 20% off. Much love for everybody watching the video. Hope you guys have a brilliant rest of your night. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.